guys, I think it'd be really good to go around and just say the age of your child and kind of what sport they play, just so Sophia can maybe tailor it a little bit. So Marie, do you want to start?
I'm Marie. My daughter Madeline is 9 years old and in the 4th grade. She played tennis for almost 4 years.
Yes.
And she's very competitive.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
My name is Shening. My daughter Alicia is in 6th grade, and my younger daughter Sophie is in 4th grade. Alicia plays tennis for 5-6 years. Sophie just started volleyball in 4th grade, almost 1 year. Yeah, they play a lot of games.
Hi, I'm Rachel. My son Isaiah is 7-year-old. He's on a local team for basketball, and he's the youngest, shortest, smallest, newest actually to the team. And then he also does tennis, but that's his like second preference, more of like body conditioning. So yeah, that's what he does.
And I have Kalea and Leona. They're in competitive dance. And they've been taking for a long time, many years, so it takes over our whole life. And then I have Kai, who's in 3rd grade, and he's kind of just doing all the sports right now, but probably going to do baseball. So trying to push the competitiveness later so that he doesn't get this burnout, and so trying to still figure it all out.
I'm Mike. I have a son, Blake. He plays competitive tennis. He's 11 years old. So definitely hear the pressure and the parents on the courts. He's competing level 6 USTAs right now.
Oh, nice.
So he's gets competitive at that level.
Yes, for
Yeah.
sure.
My son's Mateo. He's a senior at DMP. He plays flight one soccer for many years, and then he also plays tennis for many years now, recreational at this point.
We have 2 kids. I'll just introduce one. My better half will introduce the second. Yeah, my son is in 4th grade, 9-year-old, and then he's playing competitive golf. Maybe one tournament a month at this stage. I mean, it'll be interesting to see, like, from a parent's point of view, like how you adjust your
Expectations.
yeah, expectations, and then how I totally agree with the fun part, and then will be good to know your perspective from parent side.
And
Yeah.
maybe a better father and son relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my daughter, she's in 1st grade. She's not there yet.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm Jason. I have a daughter at 3rd grade, Vivian. She's playing tennis right now, 1 or 2 years, just started. I just hope it's not too late. Right now she's at a stage that still have fun, but sooner or later I guess we'll follow the steps, and she's going to follow the team to just start playing. I just want to see what might be the good suggestion to support her over the course. That is the only sport she's playing right now, so we try to make sure she's can gain as much as she can. And the other sports, because her size or the interest, she's not really interested in playing on right now. So this is the only thing I should let her go as long as she can. Yeah.
My daughter Elizabeth is in 2nd grade. She's here at DMP, and she's 7. And so she does competitive gymnastics and competitive swimming. And competitive Irish dance, and I'm just trying to keep her interested and excited about these things because she gets kind of, there's pressure on her that she puts on herself, and so I don't want it to turn into one of those things where it's not fun, and she goes into competitions more fearing them than enjoying them.
Hi, I'm Alice. I have a 4th grade daughter, Evelyn. She does skateboarding, volleyball, and taekwondo, but nothing competitive. Like, it's really just for her to enjoy the sports. I also have a kinder, but she just do like gymnastics and dance.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Hi everybody, I'm Bart. My daughter Harper Grace is in kindergarten, and she does swimming. She's been doing swimming since she was like 6 months old. She's pretty
pretty good skill set right now. She also does horseback riding and theater are the kind of her big interest things. And I think we're just definitely interested in figuring out like how to, and she's also in the stage of trying on new sports too and trying new things out. So they're trying to, listen for perspective on the process of trying new things out and like how to inculcate that healthy competitiveness, but not the unhealthy competitiveness, kind of get that sweet spot. Yeah.
Yeah. And Mark.
Octavia, first grade, she does competitive dance as well. She loves it. That's pretty stable. Weston, grade 4, he does football, running, does soccer, flight 1, surf here, and it's kind of poisonous, frankly. And he loves it, but I'll close with the best anecdote I've seen. I actually watched a parent on our team yell at the coach of our team and another kid who got injured to get off the field faster because the time was running out. Can you imagine?
That's insane. Wow.
Yelling at an injured kid. So I'm hoping to learn, like, I know you don't know the answer, but what's going through these parents' minds? Why are they like this?
Yes, that's insane. Well, I will be starting my TED Talk, and thank you so much for everyone for coming. I'm so grateful for this opportunity to speak to all of you on how we can create a more supportive environment for young athletes, and I hope you enjoy. So,
Yay, welcome.
Mr. Sanchez, can you hear the mic? Is it on?
It should be.
Okay.
Oh, it's better.
Okay, perfect. The crowd is silent. Match point. I wipe my sweaty palms, take a deep breath, and serve. I swing. Thud. Net. Game over. My heart sinks, but my coach smiles. You fought hard out there. Teammates cheer. You'll get them next time. Now, imagine if every young athlete experienced this type of support, where youth athletes focused on growth, community, and positivity. Unfortunately, many young athletes experience high parental pressures, turning sports into a stressful situation. But we can change this. Hi. I'm Sophia Miyamoto, and I began playing tennis since I was 5. And now, as a 2-year varsity player here at Cathedral Catholic, tennis has become my greatest passion. One of my favorite memories was driving up to the 3rd annual Invitational Santa Barbara tournament and winning this past September. It's a trip I'll never forget, as the unbreakable bonds from lounging at the pool, shopping for newest looks, and screaming songs in the car are so special to me. Outside of school, I compete in USTA and UTR tournaments. These organizations hold the most prestigious competitions for young tennis athletes in the United States. I've been on junior team tennis at Rancho Valencia and Rancho Santa Fe. Tennis means so much to me as I cherish my relationships with my teammates as we get hyped up to energizing music before games. However, I've both witnessed and experienced a crucial growing issue affecting many young athletes today. Excessive, negative, parental involvement. And I'm here today to share how I can take action to fix it. 8-time Grand Slam champion and former #1 Yvonne Lindell once said, "If you look at any superior athlete, you'll find a strong parental influence." Parents introduce their kids to a sport, and they support them. This highlights how vital parental support is for young athletes. Supportive parents attend their children's practices and games, letting their kids grow, stay motivated, and build strong self-esteem. This encouragement nurtures confidence and a positive attitude toward competition. Yet, as parents become too deeply invested in their children's success, excessive pressure harms young athletes. In my tennis experiences here at Cathedral, I've seen how unity and support are essential for personal and athletic growth. Our team's pre-match cheer boosts our energy, team meals like sushi and Luna Grill strengthen our bond, and our parents cheering from the sidelines keeps us motivated in our toughest matches. But this idea extends beyond youth sports. A positive atmosphere in school, daily lives, and friendships fosters confidence and a positive atmosphere to all. Let's embrace this mindset to empower those around us. Yet, we need to confront the negative side of parental involvement. At the start of the school year, Dr. Kevin Calkins, our school president and student advocate, addressed the Cathedral Catholic parents, stating that over 80 parents in San Diego County were recognized for excessive involvement in youth sports and had to be removed due to demeaning behavior towards coaches, athletes, and peers. Negative parental involvement harms athletes' mental health, disrupts the culture of the sport, and is a crisis that needs immediate attention. Dr. Calkins' address exposes a troubling reality in youth sports, one that I experienced firsthand just 2 months ago in a tournament. My opponent's mother berated me, jabbing insults at me every time I stepped up to serve. "Stupid," she'd sneer, each word slicing my confidence. "Hit the ball harder," she demanded, her voice laced with contempt. No amount of self-encouragement could drown her mockery. An adult who should set a positive example instead made me feel discouraged, dejected, and demoralized. After the match, when I finally spoke up, the director said that he could do nothing about it, as it was too late and I regretted not speaking up sooner. Why couldn't she have cheered for her own daughter instead of tearing me down? Win or lose, I could have walked away with my dignity instead of resentment. My younger sister, Victoria, had also dealt with confidence-shattering parental interactions. Her opponent's father didn't just criticize, he attacked Victoria's character. He called her a liar, a cheat, and even accused her of manipulating the game. His loud, piercing voice echoed through the courts, making her feel uncomfortable and embarrassed. But this didn't stop Victoria, and she used it as motivation and eventually won. However, the experience stuck with her. She was so shaken that when another tournament showed up, she immediately refused to play in it, even though there was a 1 out of 32 chance of playing the same girl. That moment showed how powerful words can be, especially when they come from parents. Negative parental involvement harms athletes' mental health, while positive involvement through support, sportsmanship, and confidence fosters a positive atmosphere, creating a better vibe for all kids. According to the U.S. Center for Safe Sport, an independent national nonprofit organization stated that 50% of athletes experience physical and emotional harm. The statistic shows how negative parental involvement isn't an isolated issue, but one deeply rooted in the world of sports. So, what's next? How can parents be passionate supporters and not zealous critics? It's time to create an environment where young athletes can truly thrive without the fear of overbearing parents. Envision being at games, setting up fun booths, handing out silicone bracelets and fun pins. We can rally around a catchy slogan: positive parental power. As Magic Johnson once said, all kids need is a little help, a little hope, and somebody who believes in them. Keep this in mind the next time you attend a youth sporting event. On your way out, grab a free silicone positive parental power bracelet as a reminder that your actions can change the world. Thank you. So now I was wondering, we're going to be doing like a fun like little parent workshop in which I will be handing out like sticky notes, and we will be writing down like a way of how we can express words of encouragement to our kids, like, you know, before big events, big games, or big recitals and big competitions. Just like one way that you can voice to your like kids how you can, positively like hype them up, and for them not to be like feared or anxious or worried for whatever that's next that they may feel very like anxious and worried about, whether that's in sports or anything that they're passionate about. So I think
Sophia, can I ask you a question?
yes.
And I don't know if this is for Tiffany and Jerry too.
Yes.
But when these things happen, and when you see negative behavior, or when these things are happening, what are your suggestions at the time? I mean, have you found anything that actually works? Do refs or do coaches have any authority to go to those parents and say, you're being ridiculous and you need to leave? Or tell them to be quiet or do something? I mean, have you found anything that works, or have your coaches?
I mean, I realized even after the most traumatizing experience I faced, I would definitely say honestly the refs do not know what you're going through. They can't see what's going through your head or whoever's interacting with you on the other side of the court or field or whatever. So the main idea I learned from my experience was self-advocacy. And I know that sounds really hard or just cliche, but you need to, the kids need to self-advocate and even speak up and say, hey, this isn't right, don't talk to me. And you just immediately go straight to your referee or whoever's monitoring your match, and don't even interact with the parent or coach who shouldn't be talking or speaking to you, and just to don't interact with them and just go straight to the person managing it, because it's not going to get any better just going back and forth with someone who shouldn't even be talking to you during the sporting event. So just going straight to the person managing it would be the best way to approach something that.
Have you found that they're actually helpful and that they will talk to the parent?
Yes, the refs, once you voice that, the parents, the referees will keep an eye out on the parent, and if they do witness it because they're seeing or paying more attention to that parent that you have concerns about, they will remove the parent or say, you can't be here, go and walk off the court, go walk to your car and just please get out of this environment, and they will kick the parent out. But that's only if the kid speaks up, because no one knows how you feel or what's going on without advocacy for yourself.
Because in that situation, what happened, the umpire came on the court and told her, there's no coaching from your mom, and she's like, that's not my mom. But she didn't take it to another level, saying she's saying bad words and doing things. So she kind of so then he walked off and thought everything, he just didn't address it. And then everything happened, and then after we talked to the director, he said if you had voiced more in depth what was going on, then we could have managed it, and then the referee could have managed the parent, because she was in the bushes in the back behind the fence.
The parent was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the bushes
we were
behind
on
the fence
regular-
yelling at her?
We were on the opposite side where everyone was watching, but she went around where through these bushes and was talking, so it was just, a good learning experience that you don't address what the other parent and just go straight to the umpire, and just stop and get them involved, and they can manage it from there, right? But tennis is tough because there's only one or two referees, and there's a bunch of people playing everywhere. It's not like there's someone on the basketball court the whole time. It's just a lot of things go on and no one knows about it, and cheating, coaching, parents sending messages to their phones on the court, and they're coaching and stuff, and it's really bad. And unless you bring it to the attention, no one knows, and then you lose or you get upset, and it's pretty crazy.
I would say that there's, self-advocacy is ideal, but we're talking first, second, third graders who are probably not in a position to do that. And as acute and terrible as this incident is, what I've observed is most of it's against the other team, making it more logical, where the other team may not even be hearing it, but your team is. There's a lot of nuances that make it not as smoking gun as this, that make engagement challenging.
Yes.
Quick question, general observation, obviously tennis individual, but a lot of other team members there. Have there been points in time where you've seen a teammate kind of struggling, kind of balancing, and the grades start to deteriorate, and kind of what's kind of what you've observed? Is it like dial down the commitment to the sport, or just curious about that decision? At some point it may come, and depending on kind of the path to scholarship, it may be a priority for some families, less so for others. But how have you seen kind of your kind of teammates manage that challenge?
Like the
grades,
pressure
when
of,
grades
like,
start to become difficult to compete at a very high level and sustain grades, academic grades.
like how to like manage like everything, like
Yeah, like
academically
you
and
typically
academically.
see they kind of step back from sports a little bit, or reduce and focus on the grades, or maybe the opposite, or just curious from your observations.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen like through like me as an athlete, my friends as an athletes, like I feel everyone like will prioritize and like commit more time to the thing that they're most passionate about, whether that is, you know, getting the grades or if that's being the top athlete on your team. And I feel that like it should come naturally or organically from the student athlete itself, or himself or herself, and how, you know, it shouldn't be like, you should balance like both sides, but like whatever you feel more passionate about, I feel they will prioritize that passion more. And whether that means to spend less time on something or spend more time on another thing. But I feel like balance in general, like you need to have, you know, you can't just put all your eggs into something. You need to be like well-rounded and like do everything, you know, a little bit here, a little bit here. So like maybe just like a lot of like time, like knowing like how much time you want to put in like in a day for, you know, everything you want to do. Are there any more questions?
Do kids burn out?
Yes, they do. And I feel like that's a lot, it's a lot about like, in my like experience just seeing other people burning out, especially at Cathedral where so many people are like very athletic and very highly intensive in their sports. I feel a lot of it is because of the pressure from like their parents, like Yu Darvish's son, do you know Yu Darvish? So his son goes to my school, and I've heard from my friends who's friends with him like how his parents are so like demanding of like their expectations because he's so high level and like famous, and that like parental pressure going to his son, like it just like makes the sport very uneasy and like hard for him to even love and enjoy, you know, his sport of baseball. And I feel like it's not even just like he doesn't like the sports because there's so much pressure, like outside pressure from parents, from his parents or like society, that like, you know, I don't want to be like the top person, or there's just so much like pressure from everyone else that like how is this even fun? So I feel like parents are like the main factor in burnout, and I feel like we can definitely change that from like approaching it differently and just encouraging like your kids and just to be more positive, like whether the result is good or bad, like that it's a learning curve, and you don't always need to be like hard on them because like they are trying their best even though like you have expectations for them too.
So with all the years of competitive sports you have been experienced, either positive or negative, do you think for each kid having a competitive sport is essential, necessary in their school life?
I think having like a competitive sport, or if they play instruments, like I play piano, I did do it competitively too, but I feel like you need a balance in life. Like it's not only about school, you should have like, you know, extracurriculars, whether that is sports or, you know, project that you can just like escape like from all the studies, all the hard work academically, and just have like an escape or like a safe place to go just to release all your emotions and just to have fun. And for me, that's tennis and piano. And I feel like every student, whether they're very high level or they're just doing it for fun, they should have like, you know, something that they look forward to doing on the sides of academic studies and just like the hard pressure in school.
So they don't necessarily have to do the competition to improve how good.
Oh no, I think sports, I mean the main idea for sports for me is like just to have fun and just, you know, to give it all you got and just to believe in yourself. It doesn't matter like how well you perform, but just if you're having fun, that's the main important thing. And if your kid, you know, has fun, that's that's the best it can get. So I think, you know, having your kid in a sport or instrument or something that they're genuinely always having fun in is like the best way to balance school life and, you know, their personal lives. So.
But don't you think the opposite's also true? Like if your kid does not want to do this and you're saying, no, you will play piano or you will play soccer or whatever, that's just not, I don't think that's ever gonna work. So I think some parents think like, if you push, someday you will eventually like it. It's like, well, that's probably not the case. If you don't like it,
That equals burnout.
that equals burnout, or just resentment. It's like, I
Exactly.
hate this sport, why am I still having to do it? Or I hear it with instruments all the time. My mom makes me do piano, and I hate piano, but I have to practice an hour a day because my mom thinks it's good for me. It's like, well, that may be okay to a certain point, but then it's just gonna backfire, and I think that's when I think it gets really, really tricky. But I think, I've always believed with my kids when they were in high school, it's like they either had to do a sport, a club, or some extracurricular, or have a job. It's like, you're not just going to school, you have to get involved in something else, and not about whatever the thing was, just try all of them, and just do something. And so they chose different paths, but it all worked out. For those kids who don't have anything, I think that is, except school, that's not necessarily good either, because there's only so much school you can do.
Yes.
Without having some kind of, like you said, balance or fun or team motivation and just experience. I think the best thing about team sports is, like you said, the social, the team spirit. Doesn't matter whether you win or lose, but how do you work with others?
So, and this is for non-attribution, you don't have to, you know, give up any confidences of any of your friends or anything like that, but I'm curious about the relationship between the athlete and some of the, you know, toxically involved parents that we're talking about, right? So for example, the one in your example, like the person that you were playing against and had this parent behind you whispering these things in the bushes. So I'm curious if you have any like stories or any perspective on like good and bad relationships between the athletes and some of these parents that behave this way or behave better, you know, behave more healthy, more organically, like we're talking about. Like, I guess probably more of the toxic ones, right? Like, have you seen like girls or boys that have really, you know, had very difficult relationships with their parents because they're like embarrassed because of how their parents are acting? Or I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but any sort of perspective on that?
I mean, I feel like when parents are like so deeply involved, like that they're even like yelling to the opponent, like trying to threaten them and trying to, you know, lower their confidence. I feel like the main thing is that they want their kids to succeed. Like they put so much time and money into practice and clinics and so much time and effort driving them and buying all this stuff for, you know, the athlete. And the end of the day, like it's like we put so much work in, you know, trying to make you good. I want you to win. I need you to win because like of all the stuff we're supporting you with. And I feel like to an extent that's like, it's like good that you want your student athlete to succeed, but like it comes with the territory. Like you can't, you know, go to the extreme and like, you know, it's like a balance. Like they do it out of their love for their kid, but like not to do it too much so it's like harmful to either your student athlete or like other people surrounding your kid too.
Yeah.
Just that girl, did she have any reaction? Well, did she even know her mom was doing this to you?
I don't think she did, because when I was like, I mean, I always like regret like I should have spoken up because like the ref was there and she was also listening, but I don't really think she heard in the moment, because like even after when I was like crying and like so angry, storming off to see the director and tell him about this, like my mom said that like, oh my gosh, like you should have said something, because I saw like, you know, the crazy mom and my opponent, they were walking out and like she was like saying like, oh, we gotta go, like, and the girl was like sort of confused, like why do we need to go, like why are we in a rush, like why is there tension, like I don't know, I just like need to go. So I don't think it was intentional, like the girl wanted her mom to like try to sabotage or damage the opponent. It was just more of like the internal like pressure the parent felt, like I just am desperate and doing anything, whether that means like, you know, verbally attacking the other side or doing whatever, sitting in the bushes, like I feel like it's just like the parent, and the girl had no like clue what the mom was doing, but just for her to win. So
I think at the end of the day, this is a business, and I think for 40 years kind of was implicit. Now it's very explicit at college level, but then kind of starts early on. So for different parents, that's a very big priority, and even holding back kids' grades. I didn't even know that was a thing, and so that's the challenge, right? It's completely different levels, even just for fun, but especially if it's a team sport, or even tennis individual, but just your opponent just takes one, I guess, on the other side, and things like this can happen, and at the end, I think that's the tricky part. And I think you were mentioning about the big clubs here, and it's a factory, right? They're trying to kind of funnel and start to get that athlete.
22 franchises, millions of dollars.
So it's really come to the point where it's a business even at this age.
Check out a book I read. It's called Take Back the Game. It's written by a former coach who basically lays out the whole industrialization of kids' travel sports. Question for you, very specific.
yes.
Paid performance. I'm sure you've seen it. Good, bad? Like goals for doing a thing. Like the going rate at our league is $20 a goal for soccer, which blows my mind.
Wait, what?
You didn't know this?
No.
$20 a game goal.
Who's giving $20 a goal?
The parents.
The
And I'm a
parents
cheapskate
give
for not
$20
paying.
a goal?
Yeah. Oh
To
yeah.
the goalie or to the kids?
To the kid who scores.
What?
Okay, we have her answer. What's yours?
I think like paid, like it's like an incentive. So like you are like motivating your kid to do your best, and like there's like a prize at the end. And I feel like that does help, but like it should also just be like the natural, like I want to win. This is my passion. So I feel like it is like an incentive. It is like to motivate you, but like in the end, it should be like more of like what you want, like with it, like how do you want to perform it, even if there isn't an incentive of like, you know, money or like a big prize. Like I feel like it is like a way to like win, but like I also feel like the strongest way to win is like believing in yourself, like coming from within, you know, trying your hardest out there and giving it all you got, like no regrets. So
I have a question. So from your point of view as an athlete, what would be a good amount of pressure from your parents? I mean, obviously you want some support, but not excessively, right? Like what would you say is a good amount?
I think like a good amount is like, you know, to encourage them and to like, yes, there is pressure to win, but like don't like infuse it heavily, like you have to win, or like even when they lose, like I feel like that's like when all of like the pressure of the parent, like, you know, like they're angry at the kid who's losing or didn't do very well. And I feel like maybe just like thinking as a whole, like your kid did try to do your best, and that's like all you can ask for. And yes, there is a reason to be mad, but like I don't, maybe not to be like as mad as you internally think, because like on their side they did try their best too. So like maybe like a balance of both sides.
Pretend your parents are not here today. Do you welcome the feedback right after the game, or would you think it would be better, more easily kind of digested if it's given the next day or kind of after a 24-hour?
My experience right after the match is never a good experience. Always went to an argument, yeah. But I mean, yeah.
I mean, I would say like, right after, like you have all the emotions, whether you're proud of how they performed or if you're upset how they performed, and I feel like that's the most honest, like you know, direct, like this is what you did bad and this is what you did good in. So like in extent, like it is like the best way to get like the raw, like real feedback, but like just to take into consideration, like they have feelings too, that they lost or they won, and like just to maybe just think before you speak, and just like to, you know, say like, you know, where you did wrong or where you did right, what you're proud of, what you're not proud of, but like just to take it back a notch and just to see like, is this caring, like is this accurate, like is this necessary? So like I thought of like an acronym. It says CAN, C-A-N, and it stands for caring, accurate, and necessary. So like before parents should speak or will speak to their kid, think like, is this what I'm going to say to them, like is it caring, like is it thoughtful, is it nice? And it doesn't have to be, but like, is it like something they would like to hear? Like, would it bring them down? And is it accurate? Like, is it factual? Like, is it something that's actually true? And like, in the moment when you're angry, you don't always say like what's true. You just say like what you're angry about. And necessarily, like, is it needed in that moment? Like, do I really need to say this, or is it something that I can just keep to myself and just be angry about myself? So.
Well, let me turn that question around in reverse. Are you willing to talk immediately after a match, right? Particularly like a match that you didn't feel like you did well in, like you're upset because you did bad or you lost or whatever, something bad happened or whatever.
Yes.
Like if your parents start to ask you like, how did you feel about this and how was your serve today, and like, were you willing to like kind of, instead of being spoken to, are you willing to, because I don't know that my daughter always is. I think sometimes she doesn't want to talk, you know, even after a swim practice, which my daughter's not competitive yet, she's kindergarten, right? But I mean, like, I'll talk like, what did you, Coach Lauren, work on today? Nothing, I don't remember, you know. So my question, you know, are you, rather than necessarily talk to, like, are you willing to like give your own perspective on it, or is that still too raw?
I mean, whenever I like, in so many of my matches at Cathedral, like, it's so high pressure, like we're in open division, it's very competitive, and there is so many emotions in any sport or anything your kid is in, and I feel after every performance, like, I mean, I'm very expressive, like, I say to my coach, my friends, my parents, like, how I felt, like, oh my god, like, that much match sucked, like, I played so bad, why was my serve so bad, or I did so well, like, I outran her, like, I got in her head, and, like, I feel like releasing that emotion, like, on the student-athlete part, like, it makes you feel better after, because like you're voicing it, expressing it to someone, and whether that is a good feeling or if it's a bad feeling, you know, you are releasing it some way, and I feel that that's very beneficial. But I know many students are at the same time, they don't really express it much, and you know, that's also another talk, maybe like, do you want your kid, like how your kid interacts with you, like do you want them to like talk it out, or if you think it's like good for them just to keep it into themselves because they're not as, you know, expressive, or they may be a little bit more shy. So, like,
don't you think it really depends on the person?
I think it does, yes,
So I think that, I like your idea. Talk to your kids and say, after a game, do you want to talk about it, or do you want to wait and talk the next day? Like, take the feedback from them.
Right.
I think parents forget that team sports are for the kid, and they're supposed to be benefiting from this. This is not a parent thing. And I think you're exactly right. Some parents get so worked up because they've spent so much time, so much money, so much energy, that it becomes about them and not about the kid. And I think that's where probably the vast majority of the conflict happens. So I think as parents sit back, it's like, yeah, I put in a lot of time, a lot of money, but is my kid happy, and are they enjoying this and getting stuff out of this, or is it just me, my expectations?
Just to add on for the feedback, like after a match I play, for me it kind of depends on if I want to hear feedback from my parents or not, because sometimes like if it's just a match that I'm really upset about, I just don't want to talk about it and I just want to move on kind of. But if it's like I played really badly, I really want to work on something, I'll express that and say like, hey, maybe next time when we get back on the courts, can we work on this or that? But I think it depends on the situation, like how the game went, and if you, like, I also like process the information better, the feedback, like the next day, because that's after like you process it all and then you can practice it too. But also after the match, it's good, so it's like fresh in your mind. But maybe if you're a parent or a coach who like might forget it, maybe write it in your notes and then you can tell them that later. And then for another question earlier, where it's like, how is the relationship with the opponent who's like toxic, their relationship? For me, I know Sophia talked about this, but for my experience, when the dad was like calling me a cheater, liar, the girl, the opponent, she actually went with him and like was like adding on and being like, yeah, he's right, like you're a cheater and stuff like that. And after when I beat her, she like just like did it. She just like lightly shook my hand and just like looked away. So like I think she's kind of with him, and I think that's a different situation than Sophia's experience, because for Sophia's experience, her opponent didn't know her mom was being rude and saying these mean things to Sophia, but in mine it was more public and he was just shouting across the court, and then the daughter like went on with it like it was okay.
So there's the love for the sport, and then the place or the team with whom you practice that sport, and there could be different things. How easy is it for you as an athlete or for some of your teammates at some point to talk to parents and say, you know, I don't really like my coach or the club I'm in, because it's not easy. You probably are getting the best coach or the best opportunity that can be given to you, but it might not be the right setting for you. And how, I'm sure it's not easy, but just what's been your experience seeing it, maybe from an observational standpoint, or even if you have some personal experience in saying, I need a change, I love the sport, but just not in this setting.
Like when to see it, or like when to ask your
Where you,
kid?
maybe you don't like the way, you know, you're being coached, or it's maybe, I wouldn't go as far as say toxic, but it's just maybe not as.
Is that a match? Like
For the kid to,
coach is not-
For the kid.
to be able
Yeah.
to see, like, this isn't working for me.
Because I've seen it. I've seen a 10-year-old saying, I don't want to play this sport anymore, but then you see them at recess, and clearly they love playing it, but then it's just maybe change club or change teammates or something, and that, it's not the sport, it's the environment. And so, but even as they grow older, it probably gets even more complicated to even say, hey, I don't want to continue with this coach, can we find a new coach? Or even move to a different club. So, I don't know, just curious how.
Maybe like when you like see like a pattern of like repetitiveness of like, you know, you're sad or you're frustrated or like you're not expressive about like, you know, how was practice, like how'd you do in the tournament, like if you see like the repetitive like emotions of being like very just like passive or, you know, dry or just like you don't want to talk about it, you may want to, maybe after a few times like that happens, maybe just check in with your kid and say like, is it like anything wrong, like do you want to like maybe share anything, like is something bothering you, just like to maybe get it out there, and just like to know that like, you know, that your parents are there for you and you can like come to them anytime you have a concern or you don't like something. Because like maybe like one time like your practice like was just really bad, like you had a bad day or like you didn't like your friends that day, but like that doesn't mean, you know, this like the whole thing is bad. Just like repetitively, like if you see a pattern like your kid behaving like maybe not the same as they used to be, like expressive or like as bubbly as they were, like maybe just like maybe ask or like slide it in somehow.
I have the reverse question. Your perspective might be very useful. So we're all describing this case where the kid's pulling back and the parents and the coaches and the environment is pushing. That's pretty obvious to me that we should all just stop that. What if the kid's really into it? What if all this pressure from the coach, from the environment, is feeding their competitiveness? They're getting really excited and focused. Is that something to be celebrated? Or if you're worried they're going to burn out or this is not healthy in the long term, and I guess for you specifically, do you have friends who maybe leaned really into the competitive side of sports, and what would you wish for them as you think back upon that?
Like as in like competitive side, like they're being coached.
Oh, like Steve is just over the top. He's like super aggressive. He's very into this, kind of just embodying all these parents that are pushing in the ways we're describing. Not every kid like pulls back.
Mm-hmm.
Some embrace. Is that
Some
good or
thrive
not?
on the competition.
Yeah. Should we be encouraged? Should we be like, yeah, thumbs up, that's great, or should we be like helping them calm down?
I mean, like I think it really like determines like the person and how you want your feedback, how you want to be motivated, how you want people to cheer for you, because like people like do want like, you know, the loud screams and cheers. Like I love that. Like it definitely motivated me, and like one of my most like hardest matches in CIF, like it was like the most intense match, and like a main factor that pushed me through the match and winning, you know, this nationally ranked player, like it was like my teammates, it was my parents, like all the moms and dads like screaming and motivating me, like cheering me on like after every point, whether I won or lost. And I really do like the competitive, like, you know, cheering and the outrage, but like at the same time there's people who don't want that, and there's people who don't even want their parents or, you know, moms to be in the same environment as them. Like I was at a speech and debate tournament, and she's very good at speech and debate, and she doesn't even want her friends to watch her or her mom to watch her, because she just like wants to be her own self. And there is that like maybe parental pressure or like social pressure, and it just depends on the person if you want a lot of support or no support, verbal support or no verbal support. Like it depends on the kid for sure. So yeah.
At what age you figured yourself out, like the way you want to communicate with your parents. You know, because my son's 7-year-old, like maybe boys or just girls mature faster, but have you always been so articulate? Have you always been able to like tell your emotions to your parents after a game? Or was there like an age, around what age, or what did your parents do to help you kind of to bring out your expressiveness in terms of, you know, just communications with your parents?
Yeah, I would definitely say like I became like for the person I am today, it would definitely be like when I started high school and just like the new environment, because like tennis especially is such an individual sport. Like before, like I was on a team like at Cathedral, like it's very individual. You go to a tournament, it's just you and your parent, you know, we got this. But like, you know, once you're in a new environment, like a team with other like 14 other girls and like more coaches, more parents, more support, you have uniforms, like you just feel like another new family. And I feel that like, you know, you can change how, you know, you perceive things and how you want to express things, because like it is a new environment, you know. And I think like especially from this, because this happened like if you like, and I feel like after when I was like that crazy mom like interacted with me, like I just felt like so like upset and frustrated about that, and it made me want to express like that anger and frustration more and to get it out there. And ever since that, I was like always like when I see something wrong, like coaching or cheating, I say like, I don't think you can do that, and then the girl like puts away her phone, or like the parent stops like coaching, or I get an umpire. So I feel like after seeing that experience and being on a team now, it definitely changed how I view, you know, parent like pressure and like how I view myself mentally when I'm in the match. So definitely high school, like it switched for me, and going through this experience as well, that was very like traumatizing in that moment too.
It's kind of related to the previous question. Do you remember at what age you start develop the mindset, say, I want to win again for myself. I love this sport. I want to win. Or, or because I'm thinking maybe my kid is not mature enough to have that sense. He go on the course and say, I'll just do my best. I'll have a good day. I'll have fun at this tournament. At what, but apparently he liked this sport. At what age do you start to have that winning?
Competitive
like
mind.
the passion,
Yeah.
like to win, like it's not like
To
the
win.
parents saying it,
To
it's just
win
like
it
you.
for yourself.
Yeah. I would say like, I mean, it was like always like every match, it was like I always wanted to win, but one thing that really did change like how I wanted to perform and just do it for me was like my coach at Cathedral. And it was like a very hard time last season because I had a foot injury, and it was very painful, and it impacted, you know, how much I could play during the season. And during Western League and then CIF, she voiced to me like, I need you. And that like empowered me like so much to like, you know, put it all in. And just like to hear that like other voice like outside of you, like saying like the need and the urgency for you as an athlete, like I care and I need you to be on my team, and you have so much support and belief in someone else that you look up to, and that, you know, who cares for you as like a coach, like that definitely fuels you to like try your hardest and like just to come like from within, you know, to do your best without like no regrets and no holding back, because like you have so many people who are supporting you. And especially hearing that voice though, like that definitely pushed me beyond like, you know, my foot injury and all the pain, just to say like, you know, this is it, like I want to give it my best. Like I hear my coach, my parents saying how much they need me and they support me and they love me, and I feel like hearing that outside voice definitely pushes your child to do your best. So
In high school,
No, go ahead.
in high school, is there a sports psychologist? Is that something that is also dedicated time to also promoting kind of that mental wellness aspect, or is something more that if you need it, you reach out and get it, or it kind of just get it by default?
I think like in terms of that, like at Cathedral it's not like a class, but I know at Cathedral, and I bet other high schools, they have like, it's called like, or they have therapy, like at Cathedral it's called like Evolve Therapy, and I feel like there definitely can be therapists that can help with that like matter of like sports and like, you know, the parental pressure. So, but I feel like you do, it's like a side thing that you would ask like outside to get hope on, like, but.
No, I'm just thinking just in terms of mental resiliency, because part of maybe the challenge you had is also players being able to kind of block out that background noise or just even recover from a mistake during the game, so that it's just one play among many, so not necessarily kind of big concerns, just even helping you become a better rounded athlete. That I think that mental resilience could be helpful, especially once you know that that student is on track to be competitive, potentially will play at college sports too. So yeah, that was my question. Yeah.
Is it helpful, like in between, like when you're going to a tiebreaker, the dad will tell you, block it out, it's a new game.
Yeah.
You got this
Yeah.
chance, you still have this opportunity to still win. So just block it, and I think it's just going through the experience of being mental tough, but it is hard, it's harder to say than to do. But when your child can really just turn it off and go, I got this, emotionally and physically, then they can do it, but it takes time.
Do any parents have any questions for Tiffany or Jerry?
Okay. Well, if you all can write a little note to your child, or what you would want your child to say, what you want to say to your child when he or she have this type of atmosphere on the court or on the piano